Good evening and welcome to 5:15 Yoga and Health Gentle Yoga. Today is the autumnal equinox, and it is significant in an Ayurvedic way in that in this season there's a lot of movement as we change from one season to the next. We've been anticipating it with the cooler weather, and we've been getting lots of rain, which is wonderful. But what can happen in this season is increasing anxiety. Vata is coming into prevalence, and that is the dosha that is light and airy and can be emotional in a very active way. We can be predisposed to anxiety and depression during the season, and particularly during the change of the seasons as we acclimate. And so it's really important that you take good care of yourself during the season. Those of you who've been practicing with me for a while and who have studied the foundations of Ayurveda know the importance of Abhyanga, so self-massage with warmed sesame oil is very helpful if you find yourself a bit out of sorts. And then the other thing that we'll focus on tonight is the seat of Vata dosha in our body, which is the pelvis, the intestines, low back, and legs. And so one way to ground our energy and to help balance ourselves during the season is to pay attention to a yoga practice that is slow yet strong, and that focuses on the feet, legs, hips, which is fortunately what we've been doing anyway. So, all right, so let's go ahead and begin. We'll begin with the alternate nostril breathing. So we'll do 5 rounds. If you know the breathing, just go ahead and jump in. If you need instruction, take your right hand, bend your index and third finger into the palm and bring your hand to the face. Fourth finger to the left nostril, thumb to the right. Inhale through both nostrils. Close off the left and exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. That was 1 round. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. 1 more. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. And so Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, is also a wonderful way to bring your energies into balance. So if you're feeling lethargic, it will help bring your energy level up. If you're feeling anxious and overly active, it will help to bring you down. So it really is the answer to everything. So let's go ahead and begin our asana practice. Let's move up onto our hands and knees. And so remember, when you set yourself in table pose, you want to take care to provide safety for your knees, so maybe a folded blanket. And then set your hands with the finger spread, okay, so that you have a greater base of supports, pressing into all of the knuckles, backs of the knuckles, and then lifting the wrists up away from the floor. So you're pressing down with your hands, really plugging the hands into the shoulders so the arms are strong, knees directly underneath your hips, toes curled under. Inhale and sway. Allow the sway to be really, really big through the crown of the head to the tailbone, and then exhale and round. Lift the waist up to the sky. Let the head hang down to the floor. Inhale, sway. As you sway, press the chest forward and lift up out of the heart as you lengthen through the crown of your head, and then exhale and round. So it's full body. Arms and legs are involved. The whole spine is involved. Lengthening. Notice what is opening. Notice what is closing. Inhaling deeply and exhale completely. A few more at your own pace. Really hollowing out the belly, engaging core with this rounding here. And then go ahead and bring the spine neutral. Take the knees apart, toes together. Sit back towards your heels. So moving slowly and mindfully, notice what happens, what you're sensing and where you are sensing it, okay? Mostly perhaps tactile, of course, but other sensations may also arise. So pay attention to everything. And then go ahead and come up onto your hands and knees. So let's shift the weight now evenly on both knees, both hands, just for a moment. And so you're really very strong, really connected, pulling everything already in towards the center and engaging the core. Breathing. Let's shift the weight to the left knee. Extend the right leg behind you. Breathe and notice. Okay, so you want your leg, your right leg, to be parallel to the earth. You want your hips to be even. There may be a tendency for that right hip to rise and to open, but keep the hips squeezing in towards each other, and then bend the right knee as you exhale, inhale and extend. Engage your core. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Engage your core. Exhale and bend. Inhale and extend. Exhale and bend. And then inhale and extend. Hold it for another breath. And then point your toe. We're going to round the knee towards the forehead and then set it down. Change legs. So right toes curled under, center of gravity over that right leg. Lift the left. Parallel to the floor, foot is flexed, spine is elongated, core is engaged. Bend the knee, and then inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Inhale and bend. Exhale and straighten. Inhale and bend. Exhale and straighten. So I really reversed the thing on that. I didn't do it purposefully. Point the toe, round the spine, knee to the forehead, and then set it down. Step the feet apart, knees apart, toes together, press back. So the arms are strong, elbows are lifted, pressing into the hands, hips reaching back towards heels, lengthening the whole back body, and breathing. Giving the wrists a little bit of a break, and breathing. And then go ahead up onto your hands and knees again. Curl the toes under. Shift the weight again to the left knee. Extend that right leg. Now this time, point the foot and begin to lift the leg, but try to keep the hips even. Okay, lift the leg as high as it will go, and then also lift the chest and the head. So you are creating a backward bend. Breathe and notice. Breathe, engage core. And then round, knee to the forehead and down. And then go ahead and take it to the other side. So left leg extended and pointed. Core is engaged, pulling everything in towards midline as you begin to lift the leg. Lift the leg as high as you can. Try to keep the hips even. And then lift the chest. Lift through the crown of the head and breathe. And then round the back, knee to the forehead and down. Take the knees apart, toes together, press back and breathe. Give your wrists a break. All right, so up onto your hands and knees. So we're primed for wherever your body wants to go with this next repetition, okay? But the challenge here is to really listen to your body and don't do more than you can do in perfect form, okay? So shift the weight to the left knee, extend the right leg. The right leg is going to be parallel to the floor and the foot is flexed like in the first variation. Engage your core and then extend that left arm. So opposite arm and leg. Okay, so holding it here builds core strength. Okay, this is a good place to be with it. Now, if this is easy peasy and you need more, then what you can do is bend that back leg, lift with the knee, and reach with the arm back around to hold on to the foot with the hand, and then you continue to lift. Okay, so this is not for everybody. If it doesn't work, you're not ready yet, and that's okay. Release, knee to the forehead and down. Nice deep breath. And then moving on to the other side. So we're different from side to side. So you may be able to do more or less on one side than the other. So approach with beginner's mind. So lifting the left leg and finding the strength and the stability. This is good work. This is core work, just this much. And then extend the right arm. So right arm, right leg, parallel to the floor. Foot is flexed, you're pulling everything in towards midline. And then to do more, point the back foot, bend the knee and lift, and then reach back with that arm, and then you lift everything up towards midline and higher. So here you can just take flight and breathe, and then release, knee to the forehead and down. Take the knees apart, take the hips back, and breathe. And so being energized by the practice. Back bending is very energizing. We balance it by forward folding. So now bring the knees together. And then, so you come up, bring the knees together, and then you're going to sit back once again. Sitting hips back towards the heel, and then just folding all the way over. So you're compressing your belly toward your thighs. And then make a pillow with your hands and set the forehead on the pillow. And take a few nice deep breaths. Just notice what you're feeling. Breath flowing in, breath flowing out. Mindful of the belly, the hips, the thighs. Mindful of the forehead, connecting with the hands, resting and breathing. Now go ahead and move your hands. See if your forehead will connect with the earth. Place the arms down at your sides, so hands by your feet. Take another breath here. And then go ahead and just begin to roll up, just one vertebrae at a time. Coming up so that you are perhaps sitting on your heels, perhaps not. So now let's go to your hands and knees again. We're going to curl the toes under and we're going to press up and back to downward facing dog pose. So in this pose, everything is active. The work is being shared equally amongst all of the different parts of your body. So the arms are strong, hands pressing into the earth, connecting into the shoulder blades, connecting into the back body. And then the legs are strong, pressing the backs of the legs up, pressing the hips up. At the same time, you're tucking the tailbone underneath. So there's a lot going on in the hips and the pelvis and the legs and the low back. So just breathe and notice. And then let's walk the feet up to meet the hands. Once you've stepped as far in that direction as you can, bring the weight to your feet and then just let the hands walk back to the feet. And so here we are in our forward fold. Let the head hang heavy. Nice deep breath in and out. And then when you're ready, go ahead and roll up, eyes open, hollowing out the stomach. So really taking the navel back towards the spine as you roll up one vertebrae at a time. And then go ahead and roll the shoulders back and roll the shoulders forward. So let's go ahead and come to the center of your mat and bring the hands to the heart. Finding mountain pose. Nice deep breath. So let's inhale, stretch the arms up over the head. Turn the palms forward, hold on to the left wrist with the right hand, lift up and over, and breathe. Few breaths, deepening into the pose with each in-breath and each out-breath. And then come back to center and release the wrist. And just stand here in a mountain pose where the arms are raised up overhead, feet, hips, chest, head, all in alignment. And then hold on to the right wrist with the left hand, lengthen the right side body, and open stretch to the left. And breathe. So I like to imagine that I'm lengthening, creating more space with the in-breath. And with the out breath, using that muscular activity, that momentum, to move deeper into the stretch. And then inhale, come back to center, bring the hands to the heart. Take a nice deep breath. Now, we're going to play with the Warrior Two variation. So, pace yourself, especially if you have limited mobility in your hips, okay? So just take your feet as wide apart as it is wise for you to do so, and do everything from that place, okay? Now, if you don't have restrictions about what you do with your hips, then play with it. We're going to spend a few moments just really playing into our feet, into our legs, and into our hips. So gradually take your feet wide apart, not as wide as they might be able to go, okay? And then soften your knees, and we're just going to do big circles with the hips. Just breathing and noticing. Circling the hips in one direction. And then go ahead and circle the hips in the other direction. Breathe and notice sensation, you know, if anything, and then take it in the other direction. So just circling around, notice where you feel constriction. Notice where you feel any kind of discomfort or tightening, and notice if you're able to readjust how you're holding yourself so that you are not uncomfortable. Okay. So now that our hips are warmed up, let's bring that to center. And let's just take our arms out like letter T. So the feet are square forward. We're not moving into warrior yet. We're just playing with the possibility that that might happen at some point in the future, but we're just playing with our foundation. So really pressing into the feet, spiraling shins out, thighs out, pelvis is a perfect bowl, just like mountain, except for your feet are wider apart. And then let's inhale, pull out through the fingertips. So you're stretching all the way from your shoulder blades to your fingertips. And then make fist, exhale, and squeeze those shoulder blades together on the back. Inhale, pull out. Exhale, make fist and squeeze. So feel it in your arms, feel it in your shoulders, feel it in your upper back. Inhale, pulling out, creating more space. Exhale, make fist, squeeze. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then create a lot of space in the shoulders, arms are strong, and then begin to do circles. Starting with little circles, going into great big circles, breathing. And big, big circles, fly away circles. Just breathing and noticing, trying to keep your spine in alignment, trying to keep everything in alignment. And then bring that to stillness. Inhale, pull out. Exhale, make fist squeeze. Inhale, pull out. Exhale, make fist squeeze. Inhale, pull out. And then begin doing little circles going back. Going into great big circles. Fly away circles. All the way from your shoulder blades to your fingertips. And then go ahead and stop with the arms at shoulder level, and then relax the arms down. And just let the arms float, float up, float down, float up, float down. Allowing them to cross in front of you, allowing them maybe to cross in back of you. Okay, so just exploring the relationship of the arms, the shoulders, and the rest of the body. Just shake it out. All right, so grab your block. We got to rest our shoulders before we move on to warrior two. So grab your block, put it in front of you. So wherever you are with your stance, okay, bringing it closer together if you need to, taking it farther apart if it feels like you can. Okay, and still maintain your stability. The feet are still turned square forward. We're hugging everything in towards the midline. Shins in, thighs spiraling out, pelvis a perfect bowl. And then we're gonna hinge. So soften the knees if you need to, only if you need to. Okay, if you can create enough space through the hips and the low back, keeping the legs in a full extension, then that's nice too. So set the block, hands on the block. So the block is just down from your shoulders. And so now we can create a nice box. So floor is one edge, legs, one edge, back and head one edge, arms and block the other edge. So breathe and notice. Now set your hand on the block in any way that it feels supportive and not harmful to your wrist, okay? And then put your hand on your hip. So we're gonna do a spinal twist. So hug the hips in towards each other. So the hips and the low back are your stability. They're not really going to change or move, but you're gonna, from the waist, begin to take the chest, looking towards your side wall, and then twisting here as far as you can from your waist. Think of taking that right shoulder blade back onto the back, and then from there, extend the arm. So you're breathing, and you're moving to a letter T orientation of your arms in your chest. So you breathe and you notice. Breathe and move more deeply into the stretch. And then hand to the hip, back to center, right hand to the block. So really strong. Pressing into the feet, shins in, thighs out. Pelvis is still a perfect bowl, okay? It's just a bowl turned on its side. Hand to your hip, left hand to your hip, okay? Then from the waist, begin to take the chest to look to the side wall or the corner wall in my case. Just breathe and notice. Get that left shoulder blade onto the back and then extend that left arm up to the sky. Breathe and notice. And then hand to the hip. Take the chest towards the block. Set the hand down. Now we can deepen the forward fold, maybe. So use your block as you need to. Hinge more deeply from your hips, bend your knees if you need to. And if you're doing all of this from a position of the feet relatively close together, it's still really good for building strength and stability in your hips and your legs. So just folding forward, head hangs. And then let's go ahead. This is what we're going to do. We're going to walk feet, toes, feet, toes, feet, toes. Don't forget, I don't think I forgot about warrior two. I'm just going to give you a little break. Okay. So head hangs, roll up one vertebrae at a time. And then roll the shoulders back. So it's fairly demanding keeping your legs apart for a long period of time. We're not used to really hanging out like that for long periods of time, and unless you make a habit of doing yoga for several hours every day. So just kind of walk your legs out, notice how you're feeling. And next we will move into an exploration of warrior two. So let's go ahead and step your feet apart and play with it. You're warmed up, so you may be able to take them a little bit wider apart than maybe you usually do. Just play with it and see what happens. So let's go ahead and set ourselves in position for warrior two. A very safe way to figure out how much you should turn out, the turned out leg, is to pivot on the ball of, we'll say, right foot, okay? Pivot on the ball of that foot and bring the heel, the right heel, so that it is in line with the left instep, okay? And then you want to make sure that your hip bone, your knee, and your toes can track in the same line, okay? So that's the beginning. And so the left leg can turn in a little bit, okay? And so this internal rotation helps to create more ability for the external rotation in the other leg. So let's just play here, okay? Watching how you're tracking. And then when you do this pose, you should be able to see your toes, okay? So you want your knee to be flexed as much as it can, but no more than 90 degrees, okay? And by being able to gaze at your toes, you'll know that you're not more than 90 degrees flexed. So now that we're here, in order to open up a little bit more, if you lift up onto your toes, the balls of your feet, it's tricky, but that allows you to deepen, just a breath. So set your heels back down. You don't have to stay in the pose with your heels lifted. And then let's take the arms, just float the arms out like letter T. Turn the gaze to the right fingers and breathe. And then to come out of it, hands to the hips, square the foot. Nice deep breath, notice sensation, notice what feels different from side to side. And then let's move into it on the other side. So pivoting on the ball of the left foot, bring the left heel in line with the right instep, turn that right foot in ever so slightly, internal rotation on the right, external rotation on the left. Start just bending the knee, that front knee, left knee, just bend it and straighten it, just to play with the tracking and find your best perfect place for warrior two. So setting yourself hip bone, knee, toes, tracking in alignment, pressing into your feet, shins in, thighs spiraling out, pelvis is the perfect bowl, abdominal muscles engaged, pubic bone staying connected to the lower ribs, all of that. And then float your arms out like letter T and breathe. And then when you're ready, hands to the hips, square the foot. Let's fold forward one more time, hinging from the hips, lengthening the spine. So all the way from the base of the spine, abdominal muscles engaged, everything pulling in towards the center, lengthening from the hips to the crown of the head, pressing into the soles of the feet. The feet are square forward. And then just play, okay? Play with folding deeper. Pay attention to your alignment. You can let the back round and let the hip hang. Keep the legs strong. Just breathe and notice. And then walk your hands back to your block. Okay, so here we are again with the torso parallel to the floor. So you're lifted halfway, and then take the heels, toes in towards each other. And then once your feet are hip bone width apart, put your hands on your hips, engage your core, come all the way up to standing. Inhale, take the arms overhead, and interlace your fingers into temple pose. Okay, so pressing into the soles of the feet, shins pressing in, thighs spiraling out, pelvis is a perfect bowl, lifting from the soles of the feet to the tips of the fingers. You can even press your hands together, and that will help strengthen the upper body. So pressing the hands together, thinking of shoulder blades on the back, lifting and lengthening all the way from the soles to the fingertips. And then exhale, open stretch to the right. Breathe and notice. Notice what's happening in your head and in your shoulders. And invite a relaxation. And then inhale back to center, lift and lengthen. And then go ahead and take it to the other side. So breathe and notice. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, pressing into the soles of the feet as that right hip presses to the right. Fingertips lengthen to the left. And then inhale back to center. Bring the hands to the heart. Nice deep breath. And then take the arms out in front and then sit into chair pose. Just breathe and notice. So arms are engaged. So my fingers are spread wide and the palms are facing the floor. And I'm really thinking about plugging the palms into the shoulder blades, plugging the tops of the arm bones into the shoulder girdle. So just breathing drawing pubic bone towards front rib so that your spine is perfectly aligned. And then you can hinge at the hips and go deeper if you want to. Just playing with chair, coming out of it if you need to. This is our last standing pose, so give it all you got. And then when you're ready, coming up, release the arms. All righty, so let's go ahead and come to a seated position. You might want to have your blanket and have your strap. And so here we are. Go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you. And flex your feet. And then let's just rock from side to side. So breathing, notice sensation in your legs, your hips, your thighs. Keeping the spine perfectly aligned. Keeping the shoulders strong, shoulder blades on the back body so you're not rounding forward. And then let's go ahead and bring that to stillness. So let's take the right foot, excuse me, but I just have to adjust my blanket there. So take the right foot close to your pelvis, knee is bent, okay? Take it as close as you can without compromising the evenness of your hips, okay? So I want both hips to be evenly pressing down into the earth. And then just wrap your arms around your knee and flex your foot, okay? So squeezing thigh towards navel and then lifting up out of the pelvis so you're getting really, really tall and you're breathing. Now from here, holding on to that right leg with the right elbow, okay, we're just going to take the left arm out in front and bring it around and set it down behind us, okay? So breathing and twisting in this direction, okay, just noticing. So foot is flexed, right arm and leg are supporting each other. You're pressing into that left hand, plugging the shoulder blade and the arm bone together. Okay, so they're plugged in. And you're just lifting through the spine, lengthening and turning behind you. Okay, so twisting and breathing. Twisting and breathing. Twisting and breathing. And then go ahead and come back around and just snuggle it up again, just holding on. Nice deep breath. And then let's go ahead and twist in the other direction. So snuggling that left elbow around the right knee or holding on with the hand, wherever you are with it, somewhere between here and there. Take the right arm out in front, okay? And then begin to gaze behind you and allow the hand to follow. Set the hand down. And again, using this right arm, plugging the right arm into the right shoulder, pressing that right shoulder behind you, reaching with that left foot and leg, okay? And so that you can breathe more deeply into the twist. So breathing and noticing. And then go ahead and release, coming all the way back around, extend the right leg. Nice deep breath, bend the left knee. So placing the foot as close to the pelvis as it will go without compromising your evenness. Okay, so sitting solidly and evenly on both sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. Pressing thigh towards navel, pressing navel towards thigh, pressing left foot into the floor, Flexing with the right foot and pulling that foot away, even as you plug the top of the leg bone in. All right, breathing and noticing. And then holding on just to the left knee with the left elbow. Take the right arm out in front, gaze behind you, and then set that arm down behind you. So breathing and noticing, twisting in this direction first. It's not the direction we normally twist, but hey, it needs some loving too. So breathing and noticing, sitting up nice and tall, lifting, lengthening, and twisting. Just breathing and noticing. And then go ahead and come back around to center, giving yourself a big hug. And then holding on opposite leg, opposite elbow. Navel moving towards thigh. And so hand out in front, turn the gaze all the way behind you, press into your hand and breathe. So, supporting your spine by the strength of the arm, plugging the top of the arm bone into the shoulder socket, lifting, lengthening, pressing evenly into both sits bones, reaching with that right foot, reaching that left shoulder behind you, and turning your gaze, allowing the twist to follow. Breathe and notice. And then go ahead and release and come all the way around. All right, so now let's go down onto our bellies. So we're gonna come down onto our tummies. And let's put our forehead on our hands. So make a pillow with your hands and set your forehead there. And then just allow your whole front body to descend down towards the earth, okay? As much of your front body as you can connect with the earth. And so, it might mean, for example, I'm pressing my forehead into my hands, but I'm lifting the elbows and reaching them out towards the sides of the mat, okay? And that helps me to get a little bit more of my chest and my arms to connect with the earth, okay? And then with my legs, I can engage the buttocks, okay, and really press those hip creases down, pressing the pubic bone down, pressing the hip creases down, so that I really feel the pressure of the earth underneath me, okay? And then just release and relax. You can rock the bottom from side to side. Take a nice deep breath and bring that to stillness. Now, let's alternately bend and straighten the legs. So bending right knee, bending left knee. So each time you bend the knee, press the heel towards the hips, but try to keep the hips themselves even, okay? And so really paying attention. If you engage your abdominal muscles and pull the hips in towards each other, it'll activate the muscles in your hips and pelvis, your thighs, okay? So it makes it very, very active. You can experiment with pointing and then flexing. And so pointing and flexing works very different muscles in your feet and legs. And so this is just an exploration of sensation in your body, okay? Your feet, your ankles, your legs, your hips, how it's all connected. And then when you've done the same number of repetitions on each side, go ahead and bring that to stillness. Now, sometimes this position causes people to have cramps in their feet. So one thing that's helpful is if that happens to you, is to curl under the toes so that you're pressing into the balls of the feet And sometimes that can help relieve those cramps. All right, so now let's bring the arms down at your sides. So the chin will be on the floor and the palms will be facing down in the arms at each side of you, okay? So press into your feet, your thighs, that hip crease, okay? And then inhale, lift your chest as you squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back, and then your arms might just want to also come up, okay? They follow the shoulder blades. So shoulder blades squeezing, arms lifting, maybe, if it doesn't feel like it's too hard. And then you're lengthening from the base of the spine to the crown of the head so the neck is not crunching. It's just an alignment. And then go ahead and lower all the way down, hands down, head down, turn the head to the right. Nice deep breath. So just like we did an exploration of the lower body, we're going to explore the upper body in this same fashion. So turn the chin to the center and begin by pressing into the feet. Okay, we root to rise by pressing into the feet, the legs, the hip creases. Okay, then you can lengthen and lift the chest, lifting through the crown of the head, squeezing the shoulder blades together on the back, and the arms just float up. So breathe and notice. And then lower down, turning head opposite side, hands touch down to the floor. Nice deep breath. And then you know it, chin to the floor, pressing into the feet, the legs, the hip creases. Chest lifts, arms, shoulder blades lift, and the arms just float up. And then lower down, hands down, head turns to the right. Nice deep breath. And then chin to the floor, pressing into the ankles, the feet, the legs, the hip creases. Shoulder blades lift, arms lift, chest lifts, breathe. And then lower down, head turns opposite. Nice deep breath. Now, chin to the floor. And one more time, press into your feet, okay? Your shins, your hips, the hip creases. And then lift the chest, but instead of raising the shoulder blades, just bring the hands and place them. Oh, take the hands back if you can, as if they were in line. If you had on a bra, your hands would be in line with the bra strap. So hands about at the level of the nipples, okay? And so squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back and press into the hands, press the elbows together, and press the chest forward. Head is lifted into this lovely cobra. So you may not go real high with it, that's okay. But what I'd like for you to be aware of is the strength of the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the chest. And then go ahead and lower down, forehead to the hands. Nice deep breath. All right. So let's go ahead and press the hands underneath your shoulders again, just to press up and back. Okay, press up and back. And let's go ahead, as we're transitioning from belly down to onto our backs, fold into child's pose, okay? So hips back to the heels and then just forward folding, forehead to the floor, arms down beside you, and take a few breaths. Notice sensation in your body. Notice what is releasing and relaxing. Notice where you experience a letting go. And then notice also what might still feel tight or constricted, and breathe into that part. And then go ahead and just roll up one vertebrae at a time. And let's go ahead and move on to our backs. So lying down, we have about 10 minutes left. I'm just going to move my clock so that I can maybe still see it while I'm lying down. Have your blocks handy. And let's have your strap handy too. So blocks and strap. So let's see what we can manage to do in 10 minutes. So here we are, lying down on our backs. And so set your feet fairly close to your buttocks. Knees are bent. And so your feet, your knees, and your hip bones are in one line, okay? And the feet are as close to the buttocks as they can comfortably go. And then once you're lying down, do a little inventory of what feels a little cattywampus, okay? So notice if your hips and your rib cage are evenly spaced, or if you're leaning to one side or the other, okay? Notice if your feet are placed in exactly the same line, okay? And if not, then set it so, okay? So that your ankles, your knees, your hip bones are in one nice line, and your shoulders are even, both shoulder blades pressing down into the earth, okay? And then let's take the strap. We're going to take the strap and put it around the right foot, okay? And then we're going to extend that right leg. So this is all we're going to do, okay? There's a lot that we can do from here, but just for now, let's just play with this. So the idea here is to get the leg perpendicular to the floor, okay? That is the goal, the right leg. So the foot is flexed, the strap is on the ball of the foot, so that you can use the strap to help flex your foot, and then you're pressing with the heel. So this is a great way to stretch the muscles in the backs of your legs. And then we think about literally plugging the acetabulum into, the head of the femur into the acetabulum, okay? So think of really plugging in there, okay? So we're really connecting into the hip socket itself as you press with the heel, drawing the toes to your face, even as you only allow your leg to go perpendicular, no closer, okay? Now, if it doesn't quite go perpendicular, that's okay. Okay, so if, for example, your leg is at an angle, okay, between your hip and the floor, that's okay. All right, but so then you just work on getting the leg straight, plugging the top of the leg into the hip joint, and maintaining your normal lumbar curve. So that's the trick. Okay, so you're really pressing into the sacrum. The whole sacral bone is on the floor. Shoulder blades are on the floor. Back of the head is on the floor. But the low back and the neck slightly lifted. Okay, your normal curves. So go with it where you may, and then go ahead and release. So that's a great exercise for your hips. So let's go ahead and take it around the other leg. A great exercise for your low back, your hips, and your legs. Okay, really. So strap around the ball of the left foot, and I'm holding onto my strap so that it's loose enough for my arms, my elbows to be bent, and then it works like a fulcrum almost. Okay, so I'm really using the strength of my upper body to help support me in this pose. So the right knee is bent, right foot close to the right buttocks, left leg is extended. Strap around the ball of the left foot. And so you're really plugging the top of the leg bone into the hip joint, and you're breathing. Okay, going with it where you can, focusing on the normal neutral spinal curves. Okay, so always remembering the back, and then lengthening the muscles in the legs. So you're pressing with that heel, drawing the toes towards your face, and then taking the leg where it will go no closer to your torso, okay, than 90 degrees, perpendicular. So just breathe and notice, very active, pressing with the heel, breathing, noticing right leg is also strong. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release the strap, just bend the knee and set the foot down in line. Okay. So now, what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna move up and down out of bridge pose. So feet, knees, hip bones, and tracking in alignment. Hands down at your sides to begin. Maintain the normal lumbar curve. Okay, so don't flatten it out. Just be strong through your core. Lift your hips and raise the arms up over your head. And then lower arms, lower hips. So this is the pattern. Inhale, lifting hips, lifting arms overhead, and exhale and lower. Continue to breathe. Do maybe 3 or 4 repetitions at your own speed. Breathing and noticing. Notice sensation in your whole body. This is gentle yoga. It means that we gently strengthen our bodies, and so that we can build more space, more openness, more flexibility. But it always comes from a foundation of strength and alignment. And then go ahead and release the arms down. And then very last, hug the thighs to the chest, and then rock gently from side to side. So just rocking across the muscles in the back and the shoulders. Just rocking from side to side. And then hug the thighs close. And then set the feet down one at a time. And then extend the legs out onto the floor one at a time. And allow the arms to rest out from the torso, about 30 degrees. And then take a moment to adjust yourself so that you are truly at ease and comfortable in Savasana. Close your eyes and simply notice sensation in your body. Notice warmth and heaviness as your whole body just releases down to the earth. And then notice your breath, the softness, the gentleness of the breath as it comes in through the nostrils. Soft belly changing shapes, chest expanding in all directions, front, back, side to side, up and down, fullness of breath. And then the sensation of breath flowing out, chest falls, navel draws back towards spine, emptiness. And simply continue to stay with the breath. With each in-breath, creating more openness, allowing more openness in your body. And then with the out-breath, simply letting go. So please feel free to stay here in your Savasana as long as your life permits. And then when you're ready, simply roll over onto your side, coming up into a seated position, and really focusing before you get up and move about your evening. And so thank you all very much for joining me. I hope to see you all soon. Namaste.